We are live. Welcome to another episode of the BCTL podcast. I'm here baking some cookies and taking some lives with Herman Li of Dragonforce. How's it going, Herman?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm great, man. I'm so stoked to be chatting with you. For anyone that doesn't know, Dragonforce is one of the quintessential power metal bands. Although I'd say you guys are more like speed metal sometimes. How would you
Uh,
classify your band, Herman?
our latest album is called Extreme Power Metal. So it's like, you know what? We're not speed metal. We're not power metal. We're extreme power metal. That's how we do it. It's like, you know what? We make, and that's like a label that we use on ourselves back in 2003. Right. So, so here we go. It's like, it's all just label in the end. We're just like a rock band, heavy metal band that you can listen to and enjoy. Kind of a positive kind of band.
Yeah, you guys have a lot of really, really fast tunes. I know that you're probably your most famous song is "Through the Fire and Flames,"
Mhm.
but your most recent album has more of like an '80s feel to it. I feel like.
Yeah, we used some of the 80s graphics that we like, 80s style graphics, along with um what else do we use? I guess we use the music is kind of a mixture of modern and old stuff, and I always enjoy a lot of the cool 80s sounds and tones. So we use kind of mix it up with the with that kind of, how to say, that kind of style. Try to do something a bit different. I know 80s is not different, but I'm just saying the way we mix it with the modern stuff, I believe is different.
Yeah, for sure. Are there any up and coming bands that you've been listening to personally?
Up and coming bands. It's to be honest, I haven't really had the time at the moment to listen to new stuff. That means brand new bands, to be honest. But I got into different style of music like synthwave music. Not just guitar metal, but different kind of synthwave stuff, and I find that interesting and cool. It's like you always find these bands. It's like, oh, it's not the first album. You already done about two or three. I never heard of you before, but that's cool. It's like, oh, suddenly we've got loads of new music to listen to.
For sure, man. Now, one thing that a lot of the viewers that are coming to this from my page are going to be interested in. You have a martial arts background. I know that you have done Taekwondo in the past. You also are you still a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah, I'm gonna be forever a blue belt because I'm not training in one place ever. But I enjoy it. The journey is not the belt, it's the experience for me.
For
Um,
sure, man.
and to get to that purple belt, we all know, if you've been a purple belt or if you've been chasing that purple belt, that commitment you really have to show as a blue belt to get to that purple belt level, right? And where I got my blue belt, Roger Gracie, is you got to submit a bunch of blue belts before they'll give you a blue belt in class, right?
I
You
don't know how
guys.
the process works. It's so funny in our sport. There's so much variation in how different professors decide to promote their students. Is
Mhm.
that how it is at the Hodger Gracie Academy? You got to run through everybody?
At the time, yeah, I pretty much tap every white belt in my class. I did the competition, the Gracie Invitational, and I was tapping blue belts to get my belt. So there was no tests or any exams or any kind of events. It's like, here's your belt, you earned it. We watched you tap a bunch of blue belts that are good. So then you're at the level, kind of thing.
Okay.
Um, Obviously, usually people around your same weight category, kind of thing. So he's not like I'm not going to tap the massive, you know, blue belt four stripe, right? We talk about blue belt in the class. That's how we were doing it at that time.
Okay. What other academies have you gotten to train at?
Well, before Hodges Gracie, I trained at the Carlson Gracie place in London as well. It was called the
Okay.
Boiler Room.
The boiler room.
It was called the. I enjoy my time there, but they are super aggressive down there. As a beginner to go in there. I mean, the first day I was rolling with a purple belt, and he was just choking me out, tapping me. Triangle choke. He just like left and right. He didn't stop. Right? It's like few seconds on your first lesson. What was the point of that? To give me 20 triangle choke and tap me here, armbar and stuff. I don't even know how to posture up at that time. So it
I
was
think they're
like,
just trying to let you know, man. I think they were just trying to let you know what's going on.
yeah. But as a white belt, as a first class, it was like, I thought that was rather extreme. But, later on, I trained there for a few months and I understand that was their thing. They were much more, they were about, compared to the Roger Gracie, which was, I think it was more technical. It was softer, but more technical. Obviously, we still got to win. But the other side is much harder. You got to go in there. There's no, I mean, the warm ups, you're not just rolling on the floor. You're doing strikes and stuff.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So, having trained both at a Carlson Gracie Academy and then at a Hodger Gracie Academy, now for anybody that doesn't know, for anybody tuning in that doesn't know, Hodger Gracie is, for all intents and purposes, the greatest competitor in the gi of all time. He's never been submitted. He's only been beaten like 4 times by like a point or two or an advantage. And he has this crushing style where he's submitting his opponents just about in every match. Like he's probably ended more matches by submission than anyone else from his generation. So I mean, Hodger Gracie, as a practitioner, obviously nobody that you trained with at the Carlson Academy can come close to. But as far as the style of the academies, was there a significant difference?
Yeah, I think I mean the places like you kind of going in deep, right? When I went to that place at Carlson, I mean, I really like the people there. And funny enough, when I competed, I was going against one of their guys there, and he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" It was a hard. But the problem is, I did go. I think I trained there for 3 to 6 months or something like that. But I was getting a bit too much injury, and I wasn't in great shape at that time. But they were good too. With Hodger, they really I like how with Carlson you're mixing in with everybody, right? The first class. With Roger, it's just like the beginner's class is just white belt at that time. I know they're always changing, right? I can't tell what they're doing now. And then slowly you do the mix, kind of intermediate white belt kind of thing. You mix with the blues and things like that. So it's a little bit. I mean, I don't know. White belt class are dangerous too. What can you say about that? So it's hard to say what works. But I think I got the benefit of both and in the end. So we should never say what is better because every different trainer going to give you something different. And I learned from 2 different places that really helped me to get my blue belt. It was great, really, the experience on both ends.
That's wonderful, man. Now, you also watch quite a bit of MMA. Have you been keeping up with any of the recent UFC events?
I stopped watching the UFC when I had about 10 months ago when I had my first child. So
Okay.
it's like, so the last 10 months, I've no idea what happened. I watched one UFC event. Before that, I watched it since UFC 1.
Wow.
All the pride fighting, you name it, Strikeforce. I watched pretty much everything back then.
Has anyone ever used Operation Ground and Pound as a walkout song?
Someone did, but it wasn't in the UFC. It was in one of the smaller shows. Someone sent me a video of someone walking in with Operation Ground and Pound. It was like a smaller local show.
When you wrote that song, were you thinking about MMA?
Of course, back then I was training a lot, and that was, you think about it, this was 2005 when we named that song.
Yeah.
UFC were not at this level.
No.
When it becomes popular, no one even knew what that was about. It's like, well, we're gonna do it anyway because I don't really care, So that's where the title came from. Yeah, it's pretty funny now. It's like everyone know what ground and pound is. Back then, nobody really knew that much about it.
Well, it was funny. I remember back in it was around 2005, around when that song came out. I was using LimeWire to download music.
Mm-hmm.
I was in college at that time, and I downloaded a bunch of your songs. I'd just gotten introduced to Dragonforce, and I was working, and I'm listening, and I hear this song come on. I was like, this is a pretty good song. What's it called? And I was already doing martial arts at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I pull it up. I'm like, it's called Operation Ground and Pound. This is my kind of band.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I mean, now is like really kind of old thing everyone know about. I mean, we're watching. I remember watching Mark Coleman back then. The first head kick knocked out. Remember with Pete Williams in the old UFC days. I mean, that was insane. That was insane. Yeah.
For sure, man. Are there any specific fighters that you've been? I mean, as of 10 months ago, that you follow that you enjoy watching specifically? Like, who are some of your favorite guys to watch?
Oh, um, I enjoy watching Conor McGregor because you have no idea what's gonna happen. You know, it's like I love watching the press conference to the fight, the whole thing. You just the shit talking. You got. I mean, I think that he's totally playing mind games. He's not as stupid as you think. At least back then, he's playing he made the game happen. Um, but the Korean Zombie, that's one of my favorite. Always enjoy watching him.
Yeah,
Did he pull off the twister or something?
yeah, he
That
pulled it
first
off
time?
with Leonard Garcia.
Yeah, it's like he's always exciting to watch. To be honest, for me, it sounds like I'm telling you like a person who doesn't watch UFC. I like all the fights, but to be honest, I really do. I mean, I like so many different fighters because they all show a different kind of skill, a different kind of game. From strikers, not very good grappler. To see how do they able to perform against a grappler. And I'm a grappler, and you're learning from watching these specialists do it. Especially watching back then the early days of Damian Maya. I mean, it's like wow.
Still, Damian Maya is still a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's funny because for me, any fighter that finishes, I like watching. I don't like watching fighters that are trying to drag the fight to a decision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Personally,
Yeah.
so I mean, I do like Conor McGregor because he's out here finishing people. What do you think about his fight with Khabib Nurmagomedov?
Well, I'm not I'm not really into the lay and pray kind of game as a grappler myself. I mean, you got to try to finish the guy.
Yeah,
So I mean, it was a good fight. I thought it was. But you knew exactly what's going to happen, right? This is one of those things. It's
well,
kind of like,
I was in the back of my head. Part of me, I mean, I like both fighters, so part of me was kind of hoping that Conor would knock Khabib out, but
mm-hmm.
then again, part of me was also kind of hoping that Khabib would beat Conor. I don't know. It was kind of one of those things. I didn't really have a favorite to win it.
Yeah, I don't really have that kind of feeling most of the time when I watch a fight. I'm really there enjoying the technicality of the skill. I'm kind of a nerd. I'm here. It's like, you know what? If he pull off that move, he deserved to win. I don't care if I don't like the guy, something like that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I hear you, man. Are there any? Do you watch any other organizations, any other fight promotions right now that are out, like One FC, or I know in England they have Cage Warriors. I know you live it now in the United States, but there was a period of time when you lived in England. So do you watch Cage Warriors at all?
I used to watch them back then, but now I don't even have time to watch UFC. And the UFC, there's so many fights now, right? They really dominated the times. It's like you literally can't even follow that. UFC have so many events, is impossible to follow all of them anymore. So my limited time, unfortunately, these days is like harder to watch all of them. So I have to say, back then I watched all the stuff, and you see the people going in, getting better, and then they go into the UFC, right? Remember the Pride, and then is it Sengoku? All those other. I used to watch all those Japanese ones, of course. That's really cool. What's the one in Singapore?
Yeah, for sure. One FC isn't
Yeah,
One FC in Singapore?
yeah, I believe One FC is Singapore. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's I don't know what's the upcoming thing now. What's the big fight that's going to come up? You tell me.
Okay, so
What should I
next
not?
next weekend, I believe that it's going to be a title fight between I think Justin Gaethje and Tony Ferguson. I believe that that's the fight next weekend.
Oh,
And
that is
then
happening. Okay.
yeah, I think that one's happening. Do you watch any Tony Ferguson?
I like Tony Ferguson. He's great. He always go for the finish, man. I like that guy. Since the Ultimate Fighter, right? He was in Ultimate Fighter, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. I like him. Yeah.
I mean, it's a good card, honestly. So they had the card that was canceled by the COVIDs, and
Right.
then that was that, and then now they have this one coming up, and they kind of took the best fight off of it, which is Justin Gaethje versus Tony,
Mm-hmm.
and then they have Henry Cejudo versus Dominic Cruz.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. So many
So I
things
mean,
still happening.
it's two title fights on one
Mm-hmm.
card.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be a good time. Do you watch any grappling as a sport? Do you watch any of the competitive grappling coming out?
Not for a while now. I watched what's the one I watched last time? And it's ages ago. That
Metamorph?
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's been happening since then? I don't know if you've heard about EBI and some of these other events that are coming up. What's happening is in the sport of jiu-jitsu, there's been a lot of this like movement to professionalize the sport.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of really big events have been coming up where they're giving out huge cash prizes, like a $10,000 cash prize, and it
Mm-hmm.
draws some really interesting matches because people fight differently when there's $10,000 in the line.
To finish, yeah.
Yeah, they fucking go for the finish, and they want to finish quick because it's going to be a 16-man bracket. You have a 16-man bracket or even bigger.
Mm-hmm.
You got to finish quick.
Oh, okay, cool.
So when you were coming up, were leg locks at all a thing that were done where you were training?
I think at Carlson, which was a much more aggressive style, they were going for it. But at Hodge Gracie, when I was training there, they weren't doing so much leg locks at all. In LA, where I was training, who's under a Machado black belt, they were doing leg locks and stuff. Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you know which Machado? Because I think that if it's a Jean-Jacques Machado guy, those guys are all 10th Planet.
Jean-Jacques, he's from the Jean-Jacques, because I'm in Los Angeles right here, yeah. So we got Jean-Jacques just down, not far from here, which is in Tarzana, which is the main place. And there's a few other. There's a lot of jiu-jitsu where I'm at the moment in Los Angeles. Yeah.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your streaming, what you've been doing as far as streaming goes, and how that has kind of evolved as a result of the COVID-19 crisis.
Well, I've been streaming, since for almost 2 years now. So, a lot of, like anything, right? Entertainment, music, and stuff like that. There was first you had the Facebook, first you had MySpace, actually. Anyone remember MySpace? The Facebook, all those things like that. And I was never into Facebook and Instagram so much. I basically didn't do social media since Facebook started being big. And I only just started doing it 2 years ago. So, I'm going to start posting. Because first I was just thinking, no one cares about what I gotta say anyway. And then I thought, I'm also a tech guy, so I'm into video games. I used to work in IT.
Yeah.
Before that, so I thought, actually, Twitch is kind of fit my style. I'm a gamer. I'm a total nerd as well. So let's show a different side of me than the usual mysterious rock star thing that people think it is. Yeah. And so I started streaming on Twitch, playing video games to playing the guitar, educating people about the music business, anything, guitar, how it works, any kind of it's almost like an educational thing and entertainment thing. So I play Dragonforce songs live. I recorded our last album live on Twitch on the stream, so you could see me like sitting there for 12 hours trying to record a song, a guitar solos, and I'm done like about 100 takes by then. Yeah, but I asked the opinion, right? Interaction with the fans to say, oh, which one do you think is better? Which one? How about that one?
Sounds like you're crowdsourcing the album.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, and it was good because, sometimes you doubt yourself when you've made so much albums. Like, what am I going to do? How am I do it? And it helps to have someone there to say, oh, yeah, do this. That was cool. That sounded good.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's so interesting to see the evolution of the relationship between the musician and the fans as a result of social media becoming such a mainstream outlet. I've had a couple of other musicians on the podcast. I'm trying to do one a week or two a week if I get,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if I have that schedule. Um, and what I'm finding is just it's so interesting. One question I'm asking each musician is
Mm-hmm.
how do you feel the social media, the use of social media has changed or eliminated the existence of the model of the rock star?
Well, if you're one of those, I guess you're an idiot. You got to amplify your idiots. I don't know. You got to amplify whatever you are, and I think the mystery of the rock star has been shattered, right? The
Yeah.
reality, and I think it's a good thing because let's bring the reality. Rock stars these days, not like the 80s, right? I feel like obviously the back then the competition in versus music when it comes to entertainment was much lower. You got the movies, you didn't have video games, you didn't have all this high tech technology, all this stuff. So music was people bought music and people wanted to appreciate and pay for the music. Now it doesn't. So and also this whole mysterious rock star stuff, is kind of a lot of them is kind of an act that television created to make something like more extraordinary for them to sell it to you to watch their channel. The MTV audience is gone, and there's still some people that are super mysterious and super asshole in music. it's a bunch of fucking assholes actually in music, but
Yeah.
they get to be an asshole, even bigger an asshole, and some nice people get to show who they are, or some that misinterpreted, or they have a stage persona, get to show a different side of their life.
Yeah.
Not a bad thing, I say asshole, I don't really mean that way, but what I
Some
mean.
people are.
Some people, actually, you're right. Some people are assholes. It's not. It's ways they probably think the same thing of me. Yeah.
Well, when you guys started back in what, 99?
That was yeah, that's when we first started.
Okay, so
Mhm.
when you first started, then when did you guys have your first kind of big hit?
I would say our first big hit.
It was '05, right?
Well, depends how you put it, right? We had we toured. We had some. I mean, the big hit is really, I guess, worldwide is definitely in 06, 2006. Before
Okay.
that, we're touring in Japan. We're touring all over Europe with Iron Maiden. We did the early days tour with Iron Maiden in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really cool thing. So
Yeah.
there was a big buzz already. But of course, Through the Fire and Flames, that's like a worldwide phenomenal hit, right? I have like a platinum record for that. And I don't have many. I got gold records and stuff, but the platinum record is a different kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man. So we got Megan Siri here. She's commenting that Valley of the Damned. I happen to agree. That is a fantastic album.
Hello, Megan. How are you doing?
So yeah, I mean, but the reason I bring up that specific point is that you guys hit it big. You put out Through the Fire and Flames pretty much right when Facebook was first starting, and right when social media was first kind of becoming a thing. Because the reality is that while MySpace existed, MySpace didn't really give people that kind of access to humans that Facebook does.
Well, I'll turn it around for you, man. You don't know this. Most people don't know. Facebook, that's where it was at. When if you're young and single, that was the place. Not Facebook, MySpace. Back then, young and single, MySpace was where it was. Screw Facebook at that time. I'll tell you, man. There was MySpace. You can put when we were younger then. You put a zip code in there, and you just search. And you see who's around there. You invite everybody. Say, come party. Let's hang out. Random strangers that like Dragonforce, and you just say, yeah, let's party. Let's come party. We're having a show there. Facebook is more like, meh. To be honest, it did.
You still there, Herman? Hey, Herman. I think you've frozen, man. So for anyone that's tuning in right now that doesn't know, I'm Emil Fisher. I'm a jiu-jitsu competitor, and I am a writer for Jiu-Jitsu Times and for a couple of other outlets. With me, I have the legendary Herman Li. He is a guitarist for a band called Dragonforce. Um, he is also a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, so we have some similar interests. Sending him a message here. Looks like he is frozen. Just trying to see what's going on. One second, just seeing what's going on with Herman. What he's gonna do is he's gonna have to open the link back up. So his internet just died. I'm gonna have him open the link back up on his phone, and we can continue the episode here. Hold on one second. Sorry about this, guys. Just give me 1 second here. Just letting him know to open the link back up on his cell phone. So if anybody has any questions for Herman who's tuning in, feel free to put them in the comments section. I'm doing my best to curate the questions and bring them on the screen for my guests. Also, while we Lex D. Straffon's asking, how did you get an interview with him? I asked. I'm a writer for one of the largest publications in the sport that both Herman and I are interested in. And so I reached out to him a couple of years ago. We did an interview. We remained in touch. And this is a podcast that I'm now doing, the Bacon Cookies Taking Limbs podcast, BCTL podcast. I'm going to go ahead and run through the upcoming episodes while I wait for Herman to get back on here. Tomorrow, I have John Combs, who's an elite no-gi competitor, coming on. Thursday, hold on 1 second. Just making sure that we're good here. Sorry about this, guys. Sorry, guys. Herman's internet has died. We're trying to get him on the cell phone. So just bear with me for just a moment here. Let me see. Sorry, guys. Again, just waiting for Herman Li to tune back in here. So anyways, then on Thursday, I have Andy Rovat, who is, hey, Herman.
We're back. Can you believe it? The internet.
Your sound is not on.
1, 2. Can you hear me? Oh.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Well,
are you on your cell phone?
No, I'm on the computer now. The internet came back. It was like it just completely died, and now it's back.
Okay, so you were talking about MySpace, how you like MySpace over Facebook.
Yeah, MySpace was cooler. Facebook is like whatever.
I like some of the things you could do with MySpace.
Facebook was the end of my interest in social media. I mean, there wasn't social media before, but
You know, it's funny because like when I was in college, when I first got to college, I'm a little bit younger than you, but not much. When I first got to college, Facebook was the social network that everybody used, and so I jumped on Facebook, and that's how I built a social life in college. Mm-hmm. And now I use it for for my publications, for my blogs. I use it for Jiu-Jitsu Times. That's how I got a hold of you to write for Jiu-Jitsu Times. And I feel like it's a very convenient method because you keep people at an arm's reach. You don't have to necessarily, interact with everybody. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I unfollow everyone on my Facebook. But back then it's like, I'm sick of seeing what you're cooking for dinner. You remember that kind of time? I'm sick of your posts. I don't really care. Those kind of like that. It's like, I'm over it. I don't care. I'm gonna be grumpy.
For sure, man. So you were recently touring. You were on a tour package with Visions of Atlantis. Um, there were
And
a couple other
Unleash the
bands.
Archers.
Yes, Unleash the Archers, that Canadian band with that. They have the female vocalist.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very dynamic music style. So you were telling me before we got started, this was one of your best tours ever. Tell me about the setup, the difference of the setup for this tour.
Well, we had a big change in the band about 2 years ago, where we changed management and everything. So it wasn't working for a number of years, and we finally able to kind of get the time and make the change on that. And since then, we're back in the full control of the band, it's creative all the way to how the band is viewed on the outside. So now we have everything we wanted to do the last few years that we couldn't, which is like the full-on production. We had the massive LED screen wall. We had these giant video game arcade machines. We go up on top and play guitars on them, doing solos, lasers. I mean, you name it. Like, we had pyros, flames, depending, when the venue allowed us, explosion, all kind of stuff. So it's like a full-on. We basically put a full-on arena production into a club tour.
That's awesome.
Back to the US. Obviously, we don't bring the flamethrowers because we do that obviously in Europe when we're doing, playing in front of, I don't know how many, 20, 30,000 people, So it was like our comeback US tour, and it was great. It was a sold out tour. It was awesome. But unfortunately, COVID-19 came and it just stopped. We arrived to in Minnesota, Minneapolis for sold out show, and it's like, nah, not happening. Bye. This is all over. All the other shows, sold out show, canceled. New York City, obviously, sold out show, not going to happen. You're not going to put thousands of people in the venue, anymore for a long time, I think.
You think so?
From my prediction, the way I see it, and from the people I've been talking to, I don't think there'll be any shows happening to, real show. I mean, or maybe 10, 20 people show, 100 people show, but I'm talking about 1,000+ show. You're not going to see that happening until end of next year. Maybe middle of next year.
Jesus.
We'll see.
I hope you're wrong, Herman.
I hope so. Otherwise, we still got bills to pay, being in a band, storing the gear, insurance, all that stuff. It doesn't go away, right? Just like everybody else.
Yeah, let's not talk about this anymore. What are some of the biggest misconceptions that people have about the music industry?
Misconception. I think a lot of people think a lot of people that play music wants to be musician. They think it's like, oh, this is easy. I'm just gonna do what I love, and I get to make money out of it. Sure, there's a way of making money if you play music, but you gotta work really, really hard, harder than anything. Not any job, but you gotta work really hard to get there. And at the same time, you gotta know more than music. If you only know about music and not know how the business works, you just basically gonna get ripped off. I mean, I think that's how it is. Lots of people get there, they're ripping off musicians. That's what they do, and they're not gonna stop. There's so many sharks out there to take advantage of musicians. They've been doing it for years. I mean, have you ever heard of a musician cheating the accountant or cheating the manager? Have you ever heard of the story? It's only the other way, right? Musicians got millions stolen by the accountant, by the manager, and things like that. So the only way you gotta do it, you gotta know everything. So being just a musician, is not enough. You gotta learn the stuff that you don't want to hear about. Is all the accounting, all the business part, or the legal side, lawyers, how that works. If you don't do that, you're gonna work for literally nothing. And I think back then the musicians were able to kind of do that and let that slide because you don't have a phone. You're on the tour bus, right? In the 80s, you can't call anybody. There's nothing to look up on your phone to see. You can't educate yourself. So I guess we just get drunk. And let the manager take money on top on gross while you pay for all the costs. That's unfortunately it's been the way it's been for a long time. And actually at the same time now I'm working on starting a management company for bands, for not big bands but medium-sized band, to teach them this thing, managing bands, but obviously not giving them a terrible deal. a fair deal, because we've been on this side. We are on this side. We've been there to know what's out there in the music business. Yeah.
Do you think that other managers that have ripped people off started out with that kind of attitude and then they got corrupted as time progressed?
Well, I think a lot of these people there because they want to party.
Yeah.
Because they want to
Sure.
hang out, they want to party, they want to go there, get drunk, and I'm now a manager. And when you see all this money going past you, the musician always get the money last, right? Last. So you pay the agent, you pay the accountant, you pay the lawyer, you pay the record label, whatever, management, and everyone takes on gross, which is kind of funny, right? So you pay all the costs for paying for the bus, the tour, making the album, the tour, the crew, and they don't. They just take off the top of the fee most of the time. So it's like, oh, okay. Then at the end, you left with peanuts. So I've seen this. I've seen that in my life, looking back at old accounts and all that. When I was younger, I didn't understand, and there was no one wanted me to see these accounts.
Yeah.
They were definitely not shown to me to say, do you approve this? It's like hidden from me. I found these boxes. It's like, oh, wow, okay, they hid that from me back then in whatever year. If I saw that back then, I said, you guys are all fucking fired. Seriously? Everyone got paid more than the band?
Yeah. When did you realize that this was going on, and what did you do about it? How did you educate yourself? Because I feel like if somebody was ripping me off and they were doing a job, like let's say my mechanic were ripping me off, I'd look for another mechanic, but I wouldn't necessarily think to learn how to work on my own car. And if I did, there'd be kind of a lag. What was that for you?
Well, you kind of have to learn it. The way to do it is learning how the accounting works, learning how the business works. It's really, I mean, yes, actually, you would have to go and get a book or research how much, how much hours it takes to replace my water pump. Does it take 6 hours, or is it like a 1 hour job?
Yeah.
How much is he charging me? How much is he adding on top of the cost of, the parts they're paying for? It's
Right.
really, you're not going to know 100%, but it's worth knowing. Unfortunately, you have to. And I know, the artistic brain, when I have the artistic brain on, I don't want people to talk to me about business. I have no interest. And a lot of these I have met a lot of incredibly talented musicians that are not interested in the business. And, some of friends, I've been telling them, look, this is just not right.
Yeah.
Are they going to do something about it? Probably not. It's like, this is too much. I'm busy. I've got to write a song. I got to do this. So it's not necessarily the rip-off word, but it's like some of these deals are not right.
Right.
Well,
it's funny because jiu-jitsu, I mean, so I'm a competitor. I'm considered kind of a professional competitor in that I get paid to compete. And I'm not that good. Like, I'm okay, but I'm not that good. But because I have decent business sense, I'm able to make more money as a competitor than some truly elite guys.
Yeah.
Just because of the fact that I ask the right questions, and it doesn't take, I mean, it's a lot easier than you'd think, but it takes more know-how than you'd think.
Yeah, I mean, the same thing with fighters, right? You got, what is your manager, your agent, is it taking on top everything? I mean, you're the one got to train, you got to do all the work. You're the one doing the fighting. You're the one going out there. You got to put your body, your health on the line on this to make this happen. Is someone
we got a question from Reynaldo de Leon. He's asking, when you go on your guitar clinic tours, you go alone or with a manager or something? Because I mostly see you setting all the stuff on your videos.
Well, when I did my guitar clinics back then, it was Ibanez taking me there. I didn't take anyone with me for a while because, first they want to send someone there with them. To be honest, it was pretty lame, because they, I had to set up the gear myself because they didn't know how to do it. And half the times I had to set up wrong. Well, I'm just going to do it myself. I'm going to pack it up myself, if you don't know how to do it. And when I do a clinic, like the last clinic I did, I actually got my wife to come along.
Oh,
I taught her to be a guitar clinic, guitar tech.
that's so cool.
I just trained her because I know she's really smart. She's way smarter than me. So I thought, you know what, if I can do this, you can connect this stuff together correctly. And when the last one I did, there was like video screen with like live players from the band playing at the same time with me, on the video screen. So it's all synchronized video screen audio that I play on top to make it like fun. And she actually helped me set that up. So so just save the time and help me pack it up when I'm doing signings.
Have you found that because of your pre-existing knowledge of tech and of using the equipment that you have, that you've been able to kind of really cater to and build your fan base during the time that everybody's stuck at home? Like, do you find more people are tuning in now than were before COVID?
Yeah, definitely. The more knowledge you have helps, right? I mean, and I try to use all that skills possible. I mean, I'm just sitting here in a sea of computer technology here. From you can game on this, you can record an album on this, you can live stream, you can do everything. Multiple operating system, computer world. This is like the Matrix up here, and it's great. And I remember, when I was funny enough, and I was recording one of the albums a long time ago. I was recording on one screen, and another screen had like a jiu-jitsu instructional video going. So when I'm like kind of stuck, I'm watching this techniques, this guard pass or something like that. Like it's kind of weird, right? You're like, but I did do crazy things like that.
What's funny is right before we got on the call, my club had a special video lesson with Kai Otera.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a Nogi world, multiple time Nogi world champion that's based in California somewhere, I think. And he was putting on like a video class, so we all jumped in on it.
That's really cool.
It's amazing how you can learn and you can really enrich yourself via video, and how watching these videos now is kind of our connection to other people.
Yeah, and you always watch those videos, and you used to visualize the techniques when I was on the mat, laying on my back, or whatever, like the techniques. Okay, all right, I gotta move that there, I gotta do that. And it's actually the same with the guitar. I visualize certain techniques as well.
Did you get to learn how to do that, or was that natural for you?
I mean, nothing is natural, to be honest, for me. Everything had to be trained. I have to practice everything to be good at it. Nothing was ever been natural for me, except probably eating ice cream or something, You're
telling me that you learned how to play that quickly?
Yeah, I've self-taught in guitar, for sure.
Jeez.
But the wealth of knowledge out there, right? Videos, you do your own research. You're almost like a PhD student, and you are the subject of when you're trying to get something together. You're researching all the information, and when I was training like 5 days, 6 days a week, when I was at Hodge Gracie, was training like pretty much every single day. It's like, okay, before class, before I drive to the academy, I would always watch one technique, right? Again and again and again. If that week it was a guard passing technique, we do that. I'll watch one of them, and then it's like, okay, this week we're gonna do X guard. So I'm just gonna watch X. I was watching the Garcia video, just like, okay, what is there, and just like kind of visualize these things. So guitar was the same thing. I believe all the things I do they're very similar, from driving. So I got into driving, performance driving, driving fast cars on the track. Another dangerous thing, right? Jiu-jitsu is dangerous. I guess being a rock star is a dangerous thing too.
I feel like driving a fast car is much more immediately dangerous.
Yeah, that's pretty dangerous. But
what kind of cars have you been working on lately?
The car that I track these days is a Porsche 911. Okay. It's called the 997 Gen 2. That's the specific model of the 911. So it's like a manual car. So there's a lot of skills driving a manual with all different pedals techniques, not just shifting, but there's a lot involved in it.
Yeah, for sure. How long have you been driving performance cars?
Wow, it's a long time, since 2013.
Okay.
Wow, actually, wow, yeah, it's a long time. Um, and of course, I use simulator. I have a simulator at home with the seat and everything, right?
But it's not
VR.
the same.
Huh?
It's not the same.
It's not the same, but it really does help. The techniques of, like, it's like the brain has to practice not just the tracks, but the, how to say, the muscle memory to perform a task. If a situation happen, the simulator is the same thing you do in real life. Blah blah blah. You gotta shift there, that. So it actually really helped me, because otherwise you break the car in a manual. Automatic, you won't really break the car because everything's computerized. That basically does the driving for you. But if you're driving a manual, it's not the same. With no
Are any
traction control.
are any performance cars or any race cars automatic? Is that a thing that even happens anymore?
Oh yeah, they're so much faster having automatic. They call them dual clutch.
Okay.
So one gear is ready before you even need to put your feet down. So you just press the button, it just switches like a video game. Literally, like, it's so fast. It's like, and then you put an automatic, it does all the shifting for you, and it's always right, and it's faster than your brain can do it. I don't have one of those cars. I have a manual stick. You gotta look at how, you gotta hear the engine, you gotta do all this stuff. But that's the fun part, where I'm not racing, I'm not trying to be the world champion. And it's actually fulfilling to learn all these techniques and be able to perform them, just like, playing the guitar. If you're not a professional guitar player, you're just a jiu-jitsu, going in class, you go, wow, I just hit that flying armbar. No one ever hit flying armbars. I know that. I'm just making that as a joke.
Edwin Najmi does.
You do? Do you
No,
ever try to go for?
No, I don't. I do. Edwin Najmi. He's a jiu-jitsu competitor. He hits flying arm bars. I've seen him do it. Yeah, there's guys that do it.
Yeah, actually, Rose Namajunas was doing it on the Ultimate Fighter. Remember?
Yeah.
Didn't she get some people with that flying arm bar or something?
I don't think so. I don't know if she ever finished anybody with it.
Uh-huh.
It's funny. One of my buddies that I actually have on the podcast weekly was on the Ultimate Fighter a couple seasons ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw the season with the guy with the curly Q mustache. Did you see that?
I haven't watched Ultimate Fighter for years and years.
Good. You're not missing anything with this guy. He's a piece of shit. John Gunther, if you're watching, fuck you. So we got a fun comment here. We got from Ronaldo de Leon again. He's asking if you ever do anything slow. You do everything so fast. Is there anything that you like that's like slower paced?
Yeah, we do ballads now and then.
Not talking about like a hobby. You got your race car driving, you got your guitar.
What do I do slowly? No, to be honest, all my hobbies are kind of depends on speed.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So have you always driven the Porsche that you're driving, or was this an upgrade?
Oh, before I was driving like a Porsche Boxster. I don't know if people know Boxster S, and it was basically made. I bought that just to track, and it had no track. It had no traction controller. So that means you cannot, no computer to save you at all, literally. So if you make a mistake, you getting out of the track.
Jeez.
Yeah, no stability control, no traction control. It was like one of the early cars. It's like, you know what? That's what I need. One of those old early cars. So if I screw that up, that's fine. I mean, the one I'm driving now, I don't really want to screw that one up because it's a nice one and it's pretty expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But I've done enough screw up in the old car that I know now not to make those mistakes. So you have to get, once you get submitted in a certain way in the competition, you're never going to make that mistake again. It's kind of like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they say competition is a big learning experience. And I know you mentioned when I interviewed you that you competed quite a bit back in your earlier days.
Mm-hmm.
is the feeling of being on a stage made easier by competition at all, or is there any relation to your jiu-jitsu competition days?
Well, to be honest, no, it did not make any difference. It seems because I was rolling in my bed for 1 week before the competition. I was honestly, I was like snaking, shrimping around in my bed. Whatever I was doing, I was dreaming of techniques, and I was nervous when it comes to the going in there. And it's not like how to say when I do a show, you go in there, you go backstage, you can chill out, have a drink, eat. There's I know a lot of the competitors out there, unless you're at the high level, and you gotta start at the beginning, right? Just like gigging at the low level. You go in there in the disgusting, beat up, shitty club, no dressing room, nothing. Here's unload your gear. And in jiu-jitsu, I was basically back to that level, right? I gotta go in there. There's no dressing rooms, nothing. You don't know what time when you're gonna fight. You hear the announcement. It's like, oh, I didn't have time to warm up. All this stuff. Yeah, it's way tougher.
That's what I'm saying. Like for me, just competing has made a lot of other things easier because, like, well, nothing's harder than doing those initial competitions. Once you break through those nerves. What is the biggest crowd you've ever played in front of?
I don't know, 100,000. I have no idea. People always ask me this. 200. I don't know, something like that.
You played Vakken, right? Like you played, Vakken open air.
Yeah, we played that.
To me, like just looking at that crowd, that looks like a crowd that would be terrifying to stand in front of. When you're up on that stage in front of the crowd, what do you like? What does your brain do?
Well, those are actually easier. These kind of shows, these kind of big shows, because everyone's there is into it. They're really in for party. Yeah, half them probably drunk. They're drinking like at 10 a.m. When they get up, and so everyone's having a great time. So you're not really nervous about those. Everyone's cool. Everyone's chilled out at these festivals. I'll tell you what. I was really nervous was playing last year TwitchCon. So Twitch have their convention, and that was broadcasted to 1.4, 1.6 million people around the world. And that was the first time for us to play these new songs because it was the opening ceremony of TwitchCon. It was broadcast live on the internet, which we had the same album release date as TwitchCon. So it was like our launch, Dragonforce is back, here's our new album. And I was actually really nervous about that. I thought, like, we screwed this up. This is all over. Game over. Because it's recorded, it's live stream, is out there. If you really screwed it up, this is the end. People are gonna laugh at you, meme you for the rest of your life. But it went really well. It was really cool. We had a great time. But before that, I was literally shitting bricks, and it doesn't happen to me often. I played the biggest festivals. You saw the Mayhem, all these things. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's so when you get out onto the stage at something like Vakken or Mayhem or one of these big festivals, do you see the faces in the crowd, or do you just like kind of see a sea? Like what do you see? What do you see physically?
You see the faces because it's I like to see the faces because I like to interact with the with the audience. So I even though they don't know I'm looking at them and making funny faces to them or pointing them out, I do like to see the faces. And shows I've played so many, it's all, if some guy really hates us, I can see it. They're probably waiting for another band. It's like, oh man, and I'll just ignore them. I don't even look at them. While they're getting crushed in the front, I'm just laughing. Ha ha. I've played these shows where people like flipping me off, all kind of things. I've seen a lot.
Yeah. When you play live, do you find that you get into some sort of like a zone where you're really kind of focused, or is it what kind of a mental state are you in?
Yeah, I have a stage persona, I believe, where I act totally different from when I'm just like at home or just in real life. I'm like amplified and I'm kind of possessed by the guitar. in a
Yeah.
weird way when I'm playing the guitar in front of people. So it feels like a dream. You don't really remember all of it. Everything just kind of blur past through. I don't even think so much about my playing. It's just automatic. It just happens. When it doesn't happen, it's like it doesn't happen. It's like, and I would have played those songs thousands of times and completely forget, suddenly spaced out. But it's really like a dream. I don't know. Do you feel that when you go into competition, have a fight? It's like it just
Sometimes,
happened, gone.
man. It's funny. My most recent match in competition was at the Arnold Classic, and I was going against a really, really good black belt, like a world class black belt. And I hit this sequence, and the match was over, and it was done, right? And I went back and I watched the video, and I'm like, wait, did I just do? And I slowed the video down. I did all these little things in series that I didn't do them consciously.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wasn't thinking about what I was doing. I was just doing it.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. That's when you know, wow. That's when the training really paid off, right? And everything you kind of like is part of you, right? You become one with the art. And
I wonder if something similar like that happens to you when you're playing a show. It's like all the hours that you spend drilling the music becomes the show.
it has to be that way. I really don't think so much when I'm on stage. It just happens. Everything's just become automatic. It's just like an extension of my body. So when I'm learning a song, I learn it, and I don't say I know it until I can play it standing up, maybe having a conversation a little bit, reading something while I'm playing at the same time. It's like I have a separate brain that can run on that alone. It just kind of autopilot its way. And then if I think about it, I start to kind of go, where is this really going to go? So I have a lot of old songs in my brain that I don't remember that well, and some I haven't played for 10 years. And I remember recently in a live stream, I started playing it. I said to the fans, I'm going to give this a go, and I got 90% of it. Like, wow, it just automatically, just my body just started playing it. I didn't even think about it. I didn't even know. If you ask me, how do you play this right now? I can't even play it. And you start the music, the drum beat, and just the hands start going. Yeah.
If you could see any band, current or past, or any musical act, who would you see?
I would like to see Bryan Adams. I've never seen Bryan Adams. Can I say that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can say whatever the hell you want. There's no rules. Yeah, man, that's awesome. Would you want to tour with somebody like that, Herman? Oh, looks like he's frozen again. So I'm gonna send him another message. Just make sure that he knows that he's frozen. So, like I was saying, last time we had a freeze. We got the upcoming schedule right now. We got a bunch of really exciting episodes of the BCTL Making Cookies Taking Limbs podcast coming up. So tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern, I have John Combs, who is an elite no-gi competitor in jiu-jitsu. He's going to be coming on the BCTL podcast. Then Thursday, I have Andy Rovat, wrestled in the 2008 Olympics, extremely high-level world-class wrestler. Friday, we've got Mr. Jiu-Jitsu, who's an internet personality. I think he's got like 170,000 followers on Facebook. Super interesting character. Yeah, Herman just messaged me his router crashed again, that he's restarting it. Then Sunday, we got Eric Paulson coming on the podcast. Eric Paulson, for anyone that doesn't know, is one of the greatest minds in mixed martial arts. He is the leader of Combat Submission Wrestling, CSW. He's just absolutely elite mind in the sport. Monday, I have Josh Starlord LeDuc. For anyone that doesn't know, he's just one of my best friends and one of the best people in the sport. Lex D. Straffon. Yes, we did an interview last Thursday. You can find it either on my page here at facebook.com/EmilFisherBJJ. You can find that interview with Matt Heafy. Or you can go on the podcast on Spotify. And there's a couple other ones that were on. But yeah, we spoke for about 45 minutes last Thursday. Big Trivium fan. Then Tuesday next week, I have Ulysses Bella from the band Ozo Motley. Slightly different style than what I've been doing. I'm mostly having metal guys on the podcast, but Heafy's going to give us something a little, or not Heafy, Bella's going to give us something a little bit different. Wednesday is still TBA. Hey, buddy.
Well, this is very unusual for me to have internet going down like this, especially I'm a live streamer, right? I do this every single day, streaming at like 60 frames per second, 1080p.
You want to know something really funny? Last week, I had 3 guys on the podcast. I had Kyle Bame, Quentin Rosenzweig, and Marvin Castell, all of whom are elite 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu black belts. You know 10th Planet, we were talking about the Twister earlier?
Yeah, Eddie
all
Bravo.
3 of them had technical issues.
What's going on? I'm not supposed to have technical issues. I have like super fast internet. It's like I have like, so much stuff here. It's like really strange. A line is just going down. I don't know. Maybe they're doing some kind of repair on the road or something. I don't know. What a weird thing.
Yeah, man.
Glad to be back.
No, I'm glad you're back, man. I was just going, what I've been doing is when you go down, I just go through the schedule because I got a really cool schedule coming up here. I've been trying to do these every single day. My whole thing with this, there's so much negativity in the world right now. So many people are so sad and so negative. And this is an opportunity for us to give them something pleasant. Like the people that are watching this right now, Herman Li's a fucking legend of music. Like he's one of the best guitarists of all time. And here you are. You can just send him a question. He's going to answer. If I see any questions here in the comments, we're going to make sure that Herman answers them. So, what have you been doing other than the streaming during this COVID-19 stuff?
Well, I have to say, it's a very strange thing to say, but obviously we had the show canceled, we had the tour canceled, we had all the shows for this year's are canceled. We were originally, I'll tell you, we're supposed to do an arena tour in January next year. That's canceled too. I mean, we're looking pretty far away here at the moment. That's canceled as well in Europe. But I'm actually having a really great time, one of the best times in my life at home. I was supposed to be on tour all the time, but now I get to see my 10-month-old daughter being, learning how to walk and doing things that I wasn't expecting to see that much. And that's not time you can buy back. So I've just been, learning. I've been practicing to play the guitar, just doing stuff, that I couldn't do at home because I didn't have the time, had to get ready for the next tour, something different. So I'm enjoying my time here, not going out, not seeing anybody because I come from a nerdy computer background too. So there's been years where I'm just like not talking to anybody, just like I usually stay at home and just do my own thing. And I'm kind of doing that now.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see that you're using the time for something pleasant and something uplifting for yourself. It's people are so depressed, and it's good to have somebody that's happy. When things come back, is there anything like what's going to be the first thing that you try to do when everything comes back?
To be honest, when things come back, I'm just going to chill out and see what happens in the world. You can see some of the country, some part of the countries in in the US is opening up, and I'm not ready to go out there. My personal belief and how I see things are, I think it's going to take a while. And for live music, we're the last one to come back for sure.
Of course. Jiu-jitsu, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? Jiu-jitsu is terrible. You can't do any martial arts at all. It's done. It's for how long?
Touch stuff.
Pardon?
You can do no touch stuff. Our mutual friend Seymour Yang made a whole thing about the no touch martial arts.
Yeah. Have they been selling a lot of them grappling dummy? Have they all sold out?
I think so. I think so. It's so funny. So you mentioned practicing guitar. What does that involve for you? Like, what does that entail?
Well, it's an endless journey. When you're studying an art, there's always something to learn. There's so many different techniques. So you obviously cannot put all that into a day and just practice that and not do anything else. So the only way, and I see that it's just in life, right? There's so many things you can do in life to improve yourself, is you can only work on what's the upcoming challenge. What's the most important thing to learn now, which is something is coming to you. That challenge is coming. So if it's a tour, before a tour, I got to learn these songs. I got to be good at these songs. I got to be good at these songs, not just sitting down playing them, but standing up, moving around, walking around the house, playing them, be able to perform these songs in a not just a comfortable position, but a difficult position. I have to put myself in a weird position. That makes it harder. So I got to practice that. And then you got to practice the techniques that go with it. And once that challenge is gone, if I don't have any shows, then I got to say, okay, what can I improve myself in? Maybe music theory, maybe ear training. So that, and playing guitar is not really practicing. It is, but it's not the same. Practicing is like, like drilling techniques and rolling, right? They're kind of you're practicing, but it's not. Playing is a bit like rolling. You gotta go in there knowing your stuff. You gotta break down the techniques first. So it's like you have to balance both at the same time, and you can't just do one thing continuously. Then you can't really do the other either.
Do you work on a lot of like the micro transitions, like just working one bar of a song until you really have it perfect?
Yeah, I'll play one bar for an hour. Maybe 4 bars, not that bad, not that bad. Just do that for an hour, and that's it. That's the only thing I do today. That's it. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So we are just over the hour mark. I know that it froze a couple of times here. I'm going to take a quick look in all the comments, seeing if there's anything that I missed, because I know that there's a couple of different shares of the stream. Was there anything that you wanted to talk about that we have not yet talked about?
I talk way too much.
Oh, man.
No, I think I enjoy our conversation covering covering different topics, and from what we talked about here, from jiu-jitsu, from playing guitar, or music business in general, I think they're all very similar in order to improve on something, the way. And what I think is important is if we do something, maybe a job, something, a hobby, it's good to have that challenge and make yourself be better at it than just like, accept this is what it is. It's like the black belt never accept that's the end of the journey. And for me, I don't accept that's the end for me on the guitar. I always want to get better, and so as musicians, we shouldn't go and say, well, that's as good as I'm going to get. I'm just going to do that. And that's definitely not what I do with Dragonforce. We're always trying to make the show better, the sound better, the production better. People that seen us 10 years ago, if you go see us now, it's not even the same band. It's like, wow, okay. It's like you saw me as a blue belt back then 10 years ago. Now I'm more of a, 4-stripe black belt.
Yeah.
4-stripe brown belt, sorry, because I don't think I'll ever get to that black belt level.
Man, I think it's funny because like I'm at the brown belt level right now, and I'm sure I'm at a point now where I'm competing against black belts fairly regularly and winning very often. And I still feel like I know nothing. And I know that when I get my black belt, I'll still feel like I know nothing. We got a couple of questions in the comments here. We got people asking some questions here. So we got one. Please ask so we got one from Lex D. Staffron or Straffon. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Please ask Herman if he ever considered giving guitar lessons online. Is that something that you'd be interested in doing for people?
You know, I kind of I do a bit of that on my live stream on Twitch, where people ask me questions about techniques and certain things, and I go through them, and I actually talk to them, on the stream on video, and we kind of all discuss something together with like the few hundred people on the chat at the same time. So I'm not really like a one-on-one guitar lesson unless you're the Saudi prince. We want to give me $1 million. We're totally up for that. You got too much money.
Hey, who knows who's watching?
But yeah, seriously, I don't really do kind of online lessons. I do some guitar clinics, this workshop stuff, but not really one-on-one guitar lessons online.
I feel like the demand for you would be too high.
Yes, and I don't see myself as a that kind of guitar teacher. I can't, to be honest, I don't have the time to do those kind of things. I do my live stream couple hours a day, and the other time I'm just completely full. I can never finish what I need to do each day.
All right, we got another question from Reynaldo de Leon. When was the first time you used the whammy pedal, and what was your reaction to it?
I don't know when I bought that pedal. When was the first time I bought that pedal? I should probably in 1997. I already knew what that pedal sound. It makes that the high pitch sound, which sound like a video game. If you play in a certain way, so I already knew that because Steve Vai was playing it on the song "Touching Tongues," and I thought that was really cool. That kind of made me want to get the whammy pedal. Was Steve Vai's instrumental track with the touching tongues, where he does all these weird sounds of it.
So you'd say Steve Vai is a major influence in your music?
Oh, absolutely. Steve Vai, I'm definitely, I grew up learning to play the guitar, and he's been like, he done lots of great things, amazing thing on electric guitar. So he's a really cool guy. They say don't meet your hero, and I know Steve, and I've been to his house. He's invited me down there. I borrowed his guitars. He actually doesn't live far away from me. Weirdly enough, it's kind of a really crazy thing, but he's absolutely an awesome guy. Yeah.
Are there any other big influences that you've gotten to either play with or meet?
Joe Satriani, of course. Again, I played and jammed number of times with these guys.
Yeah.
John Petrucci from Dream Theater, also awesome guy.
Fuck
so
yeah.
I'm lucky to have met all these heroes of mine, and they didn't turn out, to be the don't meet your hero story. Yeah.
I mean, there's always Yngwie Malmsteen.
Yeah, I met him. I've never spoken to him, but I think he's actually a funny guy if you get his humor.
I'm sure.
He's just brutally honest in his way, that he doesn't care how you feel about it. He's going to tell you what he thinks.
For sure, man. And we got one last question from Reynaldo de Leon. He's asking, let's put it up on the screen here for a second. Will there ever be any Cry of the Brave revisited or live play at all in the near future? He said it's one of his favorite songs.
Yes. So on my live stream, I play, I usually like to play songs that we're not playing on tour. So people get to see, that's how I play the song on the guitar. And I did I played the whole first Dragonforce album from the first song till the end without stopping.
Jeez.
And I plan to do the same thing for the second album, Sonic Firestorm. First, from the first note to the last note, right? Cry of the Brave is the last song on that. So I plan to learn it. I've never played. I played that song back in 2003 when we were recording the album. So that was the last time I played it. That's a long time ago for me to have to learn it back. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I'll give it a go. I don't have that much time, but I plan to learn the whole second album, the whole third album, the whole new album for sure, and just kind of do this playthrough on Twitch. So
have you guys ever had like a request that you honored? A bunch of people in the crowd asked for a specific song, and you guys hadn't practiced it, but you said fuck it and just played it live?
Yeah, we've done that a few times, and it turned out okay. But usually there's songs like, okay, we played on the whole last tour, but we didn't come to this part of the world. Uh,
Gotcha.
I know pretty much the first album really well, and the second one. Some songs you're just never gonna forget. But no, let's be honest. If you play every single night on tour, you're always gonna be better than one that you haven't played for 10 years, or even a month. If you haven't played that for a month, compared to the song that you play every day. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Mhm.
That is awesome. Well, I'm just taking one last look here at the comments, just making sure that we didn't miss anything, but I think we got all the questions. I really appreciate you coming on and spending time with me here. Been a big fan of your music for many years, and I think that a lot of people don't realize how human their favorite musicians are, and it's kind of cool to give people an opportunity to share a conversation with you.
Yeah, and I think social media, this part of things, also helped us show a different side of us. We're not really the asshole you think we are, somehow. And I have seen comments, "Oh man, Herman is so arrogant," blah 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 blah, because I'm playing on stage and I'm making a show. Not being arrogant, but I'm trying to make an exciting show for you guys. So I'm not going to stand there and just stare at my shoes and be shy about it. It's just going to go and project and try to make something happen and have fun doing it.
It's funny.
So,
I have similar experiences, where I'll do some antics on stage while I'm competing, and people think that that's an indication of who I am as a person.
yeah, it's crazy. People, that's that's just a natural way human judge the book by its cover most of the time first. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I gotta show everybody. Look, this is my dog Pickles, and he has a grappling rash guard. There you go. Look at him. He's a De La Riva kind of guy.
He's a De La Riva kind of guy. I don't know, man. That name is fallen into disrepute as of late.
Really?
There was. You can read up on it, but there was an alleged incident that's been talked about involving him.
Oh, really? Okay. Didn't know about it. Oops. Okay. Well,
it's fine. I don't blame you.
He's got loads of techniques anyway. Don't worry.
I mean, that guard is fantastic, regardless of whether or not you believe any of that. So, again, just wanted to run through the schedule real quick before we cut this stream out. For anybody interested in tuning in, tomorrow I have John Combs at 9 p.m. He's an elite no-gi competitor. Thursday I have Andy Rovat, who wrestled in the 2008 Olympics. He's going to be on at 5:30 p.m. Friday is Mr. Jiu-Jitsu, the legendary internet personality. Saturday I have Joe Bays, who is one of the original American leg lockers. Sunday is Eric Paulson of Combat Submission Wrestling, CSW. He's an OG. It's funny. Every time I say that name on my podcast, the guest goes, "Wow."
Wow. Yeah, I mean, legend.
For sure, man. Then Monday, I have Josh LeDuc, Star-Lord, the owner of Zapatero Invitational, one of the best promoters in the game, one of my favorite humans. Tuesday, I have Ulysses Bella from Ozo Motley, another band, they're a Grammy-winning band. My first Grammy winner on the podcast, Herman. Got to win Grammy.
Cool. I'm a Grammy loser, unfortunately. I lost that one.
You're nominated. That's impressive. I feel like your category is hard to win.
Grammy loser.
You guys have more. You have more fans on your Facebook page, on your guitarist page than they do on their entire. I'm just saying, they got to up their Instagram game. No, they're awesome. They're absolutely fucking awesome. Cool. Then Wednesday is still TBD. Thursday, I've got Nikki Sullivan, who's an elite female competitor. And Friday, I got Lance King, the owner of Nightmare Records, former singer of Pyramaze and Avian, fantastic prog and power metal singer.
I know him. He used to sing for what's the other band? He's a good singer, Lance King. I like him. What other bands he singing?
Balance of Power?
Huh? Balance of Power. That's right. Balance of Power. First few albums, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Lance King's awesome.
You know that he's also a martial artist?
No, I had no idea.
Yeah, he is. So he is an instructor at the Minnesota Academy of Martial Arts, which is where Brock Lesnar and Sean Shirk and all them.
Oh shit! Wow,
Yeah, he's a Muay Thai instructor, and he does some jiu-jitsu too.
that is cool. Wow, I haven't heard the word Lance King for a long time. That
Yeah,
is
Lance
crazy.
King's one of my favorite people to fuck with because he happens to look. He bears an uncanny resemblance to James LeBrie.
No shit.
Think about it.
I mean, I don't remember him having that curly hair, but I haven't seen
No,
Lance King for a long time.
he doesn't have curly hair, but he looks like James LeBrie got a perm.
Really, I haven't seen Lance King for so many years. I mean, I met Lance King once upon a time, but say hi to him. You have no idea who the hell I am, but say hi to him anyway when you talk to
He
him.
knows who you are. He knows who you are. Everybody knows who you are.
Cool. Yeah, he's a great singer. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you to everybody for tuning in, and we'll be in touch, Herman.
Thank you. Take care. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good night.
See ya. Bye.